I'm a producer for Art Processors, a creative agency that was formed in Australia in 2011 as part of a large work that we did for the Museum of Old and New Art, which is an extraordinary museum in Hobart, Tasmania. If you're in that corner of the world, I highly recommend that you visit. So we've subsequently worked with a number of Australian institutions, including Melbourne Zoo, Museum Victoria, Art Gallery of New South Wales, amongst many others. A couple of years ago, we set up an office in San Francisco, and today I'll be talking very briefly about a project we recently launched in Washington, D.C. with the Smithsonian Institution's Freer-Sackler Galleries of Asian Art. That project culminated in a mobile application for on-site use, as well as a podcast for off-site use. So as we'll have a chance to discuss afterward in the workshops, I'll discuss three major touch points with you right now, and how those relate to the theme of this conference of museums beyond walls. So those are alignment, choice, and accessibility. So this is a beautiful image of the Freer-Sackler Gallery opening night, which was just a few weeks ago. So the first concept, alignment. The first challenge that we faced when we were introduced to this project was that the Freer-Sackler knew they needed a mobile application, but there was a lot of internal debate about what that would look like. So I'm sure you can imagine a director had one vision, digital staff had another, marketing teams, and of course curators. I'm sure that's a story you're all familiar with. So to assist with this, we came on site and led a 2-day workshop to discuss alignment on creative concepts, technical possibilities, and structured around specific goals, we were able to provide a space for all sides to listen and participate. We came out of that workshop with a roadmap that would inform all aspects of the project moving forward. So the solution of these workshops was to look at creating an application that would offer choice and access. Choice in types of content and access to many types of visitors. Visitors of different languages, abilities, and even those who could not physically attend the space. Audiences beyond walls, if you will. So choice can be a good thing, but we were really careful not to offer too much. And so we decided on 2 modes. Those are displayed here. The first type of content, which is a more traditional type of content you might find in a museum, would be a self-guided mode. So while on site, we would use indoor location to offer short audio about the most iconic objects that the museum had to offer. This would be available in 9 languages. The second mode, the podcast tour mode, was intended to be more, am I too close? Oh, sorry guys. I'll stop saying all the P's. The second mode, a podcast or tour mode, there we go, was intended to be more of a guided story that unfolds, an exploration of a theme, using objects in the galleries as touch points along the way, also using location. So we spent a lot of time thinking about the best way to display this type of content or tell these types of stories in a way that enhances the collection in the physical galleries. But remember, we also set out to allow access to an off-site audience in an equally enriching way. So for the first mode, the gallery highlights, we simply made that information available in the app via a gallery list and an image accompanying each bit of audio. But the second mode, the sort of podcast tour, would need to take a different shape, and we did face a lot of difficulty in defining that until even the last few weeks. So our expertise as art processors is in bringing together sound, technology, and art within a physical space, and how to make that immersive. But we were working with an in-house branch of the Smithsonian, and their expertise was in creating more typical podcast-style content that you would typically listen to sort of off-site. So it took determination and a whole lot of compromise to make sure that we were delivering for both audiences. So I know this desire to offer immersive content on-site as well as alluring content off-site is something that we, as marketing professionals, were not alone in exploring. But I think we landed in a good spot without compromising on quality. And this left time in our budget for other priorities, which leads me to accessibility. So the features and work that we did with accessibility, so the Freer-Sackler had a goal to try and make this application and this institution, this museum, the most accessible of the Smithsonian's. So we partnered with two groups, Sina Bahram of Prime Access Consulting and also Beth Zebart of the Smithsonian Institution's Accessibility Program. Sina was really able to help from a technical level. He assisted and advised our engineers on how to best implement the latest accessibility features. And then Beth brought in people to the space who could test with us and provide feedback on the work that we had done. So these really low-res images are of that accessibility testing that we did on site, which provided a lot of wonderful information for us to make the application more accessible to those audiences. So there's been a lot of talk this week about including and being inviting to different communities. I think this project, at least for me, has been a real learning experience in the ways that technology can help communities of different abilities feel welcome in a museum. We're really happy to see some more advanced accessibility features coming to a future release due very soon at the Freyer-Sackler. So in closing, I'll simply say that we believe digital engagement to be as unique as the institutions that we work with. And by partnering with the Freyer-Sackler, we were able to create, build, and deliver an application that suits the goals of the institution and provides enjoyment to audiences from many backgrounds, many regions, languages, and abilities. This helped the Freyer-Sackler to become a museum without walls. Thank you.